Okay, in today's video, we're going to talk about Google search ad image extensions and how you can run a split test on those to find the right image that's going to work for your brand. A lot of people, these are the little images that show up next to your search ads or your text ads on Google, because of course you can run shopping ads on Google, you can run search ads. Search ads are the text ads. As you probably noticed, if you don't know what this is already, there's images that show up next to the text ads now. The choice of which image to show there can literally double the performance of your search campaign in terms of doubling the actual profit. It increases click-through rates, which then also decreases your click-through rates. What you don't want to do is just randomly pick any old image like it doesn't matter. It matters just as much as the text basically on the ad, or close anyway. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a framework for figuring out what image to use, what images work the best for most companies, and then given that one image isn't going to work the best for all companies, how to actually test this and verify you got the right image so you get the full effect of your search ads and you make that extra doubling of the profit you can make from your search ads, assuming you had that ideal image versus just a random image you picked, because chances are that random image you picked is not going to be the one that's going to get you the most profit. That would be like 10% of the chance. So not doing this with all the effort it takes to set up and manage your search campaigns as is really just idiotic, because this is like the easiest thing you can do to increase the profitability of your ads. You just got to know the process of split testing the image that you show. Well, of course, know what image to test in the first place, which I'm going to give you that framework, but also how to test it so you find the right image, because it's not just simply switching out the image and see what happens. That's not going to give you the results you want. There's a specific process for testing that out. I'm going to tell you how to do it and then how I do it for the campaigns that I have to get results on. So with that said, I'll get into the content. Most people use image extensions, which they're technically called image assets now. I hate the fact they keep changing their names on everything, but like this. But we're talking about the image that shows up next to the search ads here. Now, most people know the importance of having this image on here. You could know nothing about Google Ads, see your competitors have that image and know that that's going to be important. And it is. But what people don't have or do is they don't realize how much the image itself, having one image over another image, is going to affect your results. Like I said before, you can easily double the performance of your campaigns just by having the right image show up on next to your ad, okay? Now, there is generally two image strategies that work the best to simplify this whole process, to get you on the basic right path with picking the right image, so you have to do as little testing as possible to find the most ideal image to show on your ads. It's going to get you the highest click-through rates, because that's everything you're trying to do with your ads, is just to get more click-through rates, because that's going to get you more market share and reduce your cost per click. The two things that are going to basically work most 90+% of the time is to use an image that shows someone doing the thing, such as if you're running a cleaning service, showing somebody like not even a person, but somebody with their hand. This is a real example of something that worked in the cleaning services space, of a feather duster dusting off a shelf. Why? Because people are going to click on what they feel like seems familiar to them. And if they're looking for a cleaning service, what is it in their mind they're going to be thinking of? Somebody cleaning their house, right? So of course you want to show somebody cleaning to that user. Whatever most closely matches what that user has in their mind already is going to be what's going to get you the highest click-through rates. It's why I use single keyword ad groups in all our campaigns, where if somebody searches for top cleaning company in Dallas, I want my ad to say top cleaning company in Dallas, not cleaning companies in Dallas or what have you. Why? Because it'll get a higher click-through rate every single time doing that. It's a lot of work, but it gets twice the click-through or 3 times the click-through rate than having one ad that just is used for every type of keyword that you're bidding on. So with that said, think about in your market, what are people thinking about the most? Because obviously not everybody's going to think the same way, but what are they thinking about the most? For most of you guys, it'll be showing somebody doing the thing. If you're doing, of course, e-commerce, you're selling products, that's not going to obviously apply to you so much. For most people, it's going to be the second one, image showing the end product. So you're going to show the product, or going back to services are here again, like in the floor buffing space. If you want your concrete floors to look good, what looks good in that space is not somebody cleaning and polishing the floors physically, but showing the end product of what the floor looks like after the polishing is done. A beautiful photo. So in services, in other words, sometimes it's going to be showing somebody doing the service. Sometimes it's going to be the end product after the service is done, showing what the end product looks like. For products, it's generally just showing the product. But even then, there's some different things you can do to get the most results out of your ads. That just tells you up front basically what's going to work, okay? Now, I said two things here is like what your options are to get results most 90+% of the time. However, if you're in professional services, neither one of those apply. You'll generally do the best with a professional headshot. I know you guys mostly aren't going to be doing that, but if you are, a headshot from here up is going to be like if you were a lawyer. What we found works the best is not a stupid ass gavel there that people are going to, you see most of these lawyers doing. It's going to be showing a lawyer there. Why? Because when I'm going to going back to what I said before, if you're going to go hire a lawyer, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about talking to a person. You're not thinking about a damn gavel slamming on, or whatever, It looks interesting. It does capture your attention, but it doesn't follow the golden rule that I mentioned, that if you follow that rule, you're going to get the most profit from your ads going that general direction that I gave you. What are people thinking about? Give them what they're thinking about. That said, okay, moving on here. You're going to, if you're not selling a product, you're going to test A and B. If you're selling a product, you're basically going to go with B. But on top of that, you're going to want to test the different variations of A or B, or see if that applies to you technically. You can actually also give yourself double-digit more click-through rate, upwards of doubling your click-through rate, again, just by doing some small tweaks to that, showing the work being done or showing the end product of the work. You could take, and these are real examples of what we've done before that have boosted click-through rates. You could take a product, instead of just showing the product as is, you take the product, you dedicate about the bottom 25% of that image itself, you make it, have it be white, with a white background, and then put your logo down on top of it. So they see your product, and they see your logo underneath it. So that would be one way to increase click-through rates where we've gotten results doing that versus just the product by itself. Another variation is you could take that image of that product and you could put a button underneath it that says buy now, which if you can get it approved, that'll generally always increase click-through rates, particularly if you use a red button. Problem is it doesn't always get approved. Google's review system is funny. Sometimes you can get stuff, something that's technically supposed to not work, does work. If you're lucky enough to get it to work, it will generally increase your click-through rates. It's not like you're going to get your account shut down over it. You're just not going to get approved. It's worth a shot trying that. But that's another example of where we were able to boost click-through rates over the standard, showing the product, whatnot there. And this also, by the way, applies to the service companies as well, such as on that, that feather duster that we were showing the logo there underneath. That's a way to increase click-through rates. Another option you have is to do a split image. Now this is the one we probably use the most, where literally with this, instead of having, say if this is your image here, right? Instead of having your product here showing, why not show half of the image where your product is there showing? Let's say that's your product right there, right? And then on this side, show a lifestyle image is what I call it. So essentially, if you're going to show a floor paint, let's say, well, you show a picture of the floor paint on this side, and then on this side, you're going to show a picture of the floor after it's been painted. So and that'll get higher click-through rates. That works a lot. Even in services, that works great, right? Because you can show somebody cleaning on one side with the guy with, the hand with the feather duster on the one side here, and then on the other side you could show a clean house. So that a lot of times works. I didn't put it on here, but another variation of this that often works better than the, just the control or, what I mentioned by default here is to, if you sell a USA made product, we'll do stuff like show the product there and then put a little picture of a US flag in the upper right hand corner here, and potentially overlay the logo down here. So, and furthermore, the product will be overlaid sometimes on the background. So if you're again, go to do this again, instead of just showing let's say you were selling floor paint, you had your paint can there, right? What we'll do is like put a picture of a floor in the background and then the paint can's superimposed over it. And then we'll put like a little picture of a USA flag up here, and sometimes put like a little, the square version of the logo that normally is that goes on the, like a 16 by 16 version of your logo goes here in the lower left-hand corner. Obviously, in this case, sometimes you would have the bottom 20% be white again, and then you could have your logo down there. So there's different variations there that I just mentioned that will often push the numbers up even higher than if you just had the product showing, or just showing somebody doing the work, or just showing the work already being delivered, if you will. So you can have a background, you can have just a white background. So you should test that. You can have a little icon superimposed over your image, or you cannot. You should test it both ways. You can have your logo showing on the image, both your full version of your logo as well as your square version of your logo that's 16 by 16. Sometimes that'll work better, sometimes that won't. You can have a button added at the bottom of your image. Sometimes it'll work better, sometimes it won't. Mostly it will, but it just won't get approved. So anyway, there's your material to work with to know what to actually test on your ad to get you the highest possible click-through rate you can, okay? With that said, what a typical person would do that's watching this video, you're not typical, so you're not going to be doing this. You're not going to just run out and change your image extension and then see what happens. No, you're going to be scientific about this. You're going to go into your search campaign, you're going to find the highest traffic keyword you have that gets the most clicks. You're going to put it into its own ad group, okay? You're going to pause that keyword effectively, or, well, stand updated. I'll update myself here and say, don't pause the original keyword. Create a new ad group where that keyword is in there as well. I'm screwed up here because normally I run campaigns where one keyword is in an ad group and only one. So I don't have to do this quite the way. I'm just speaking from your standpoint. You probably don't use single keyword ad groups. You have multiple keywords in an ad group. But if you have multiple keywords in an ad group, you would just create a new ad group with the keyword that gets the most clicks from your existing ad group, okay? In that ad group, you're going to do an ad group level image extension, which is different than the image extension that you're using in your campaign and in that campaign overall. Because the main thing is, if you add an image extension at the ad group level, that'll override the image extension at the campaign level. Okay? So if you have blue bike as a keyword, and you have this keyword, this keyword, this keyword in the same ad group, you can take this keyword that gets the most clicks from inside your campaign, put it into its own ad group, take your image extension, put it here, make sure it's an ad group level image extension, and then you'll come back in 90 days and you'll see if your ad group with that same keyword that's in your original ad group got a higher click-through rate than the keyword that's in your original ad group. So same keyword that's now in two different ad groups. Your original campaign that's set to show the image extension you already had, the new ad group is set to show the image extension that you're testing. You can see which one gets a higher click-through rate. Whatever gets the highest click-through rate in terms of one ad group versus the other given that the only thing different between one ad group and another is the fact that you have a different image extension showing, that'll be the one that makes you the most money. You're just simply looking for higher click-through rates, because higher click-through rates means more clicks available from your market, more market share basically, and a lower cost per click once the quality scores recalculate and give you the credit for having a higher click-through rate. If you wanted to technically make this a little bit more accurate of a test, you could go the general direction I was mentioning before, where you could pause the keyword you had in the original ad group, create a new ad group where everything is the same, so you'll just basically isolate that top traffic keyword in its own ad group, and then you create another ad group which has that same keyword in it, but has an image extension that's new that you're testing. So basically, instead of having the keyword that's in an ad group with a bunch of keywords tested against a new ad group with one keyword in it, you just pause the keyword in your existing ad group, create two new ad groups, one ad group that has an image extension that you were using in the original campaign, and one ad group that has a new image extension that you're ready to test. And both of the new ad groups that you have would have an ad group level image extension, so you can test side by side directly. This would be the best way to test it. So you can see, does the click-through rate go up the highest with the old image I was using or the new image I was using? The reason why, by the way, I'm telling you to do this on a keyword level is because anytime you're doing testing, you want to isolate all possible unnecessary variables. You want to know, is it really the image on the image extension that increased the click-through rate? The only way to do that is to pick one keyword in terms of the source of traffic, because if you have lots of keywords, the traffic source is going to be it's going to be mixed. Maybe you got a different mix of traffic that skewed your click-through rate numbers. So the most accurate way to tell if your image is the best image to use, you put two ad groups with the same keyword in it, everything the same except for the image extension. Test them side by side, which will, depending on how much traffic that keyword pulls in, might be a week or 3 months, but you'll then know almost, as sure as possible which image you should be using throughout your whole account, essentially, or for all campaigns that represent that product or that service, if you will. Just be also cognizant that you need a certain amount of clicks to know that your image test won or lost. There's something called statistical significance. You can Google statistical significance calculator, where you're going to put in the number of clicks each ad group got, and then how many impressions each ad group got, and then how many clicks each ad group got. And if the statistical significance calculator that you use doesn't say you have at least 90% statistical significance, you don't have an answer as to whether or not the image you're testing actually does better or not, because you don't have enough. It's the higher the statistical significance you have, the less likely the result you have is by chance. Obviously, 99% would be the best, but for all practical purposes at our agency, we're just going to go with 90% or greater, and have that be sure enough for us that whatever we were testing actually didn't come out that way by chance. So you need a certain amount of minimum clicks in your two ad groups, right, that you're testing to see if your image actually was better or not. But once you do, then you have the end result you want. And then once you know that image is better, you can apply it to the rest of your account. So, and basically the way that it works out, the better your ad test, or the more your ad test beats, your image test beats the original image you had, the quicker you'll have the result that you want, because statistical significance is going to come faster the wider the gap in click-through rate you get from that one image versus the original image you're testing. So anyway, I know that's would have been a little bit easier to show that on a screen share, but that's basically it. If you have any questions about it, you can ask me and I'll help you get the rest of the way of it with it if you just leave me a comment in the comment section. But that's basically the way that you're going to test this. I gave you the ammo of what to test, what basically generally works, so you can narrow down what will get you the best results the quickest, and then you'll come up with 4 or 5 different variants of tests like I showed you here, if not 10, and you'll set up different ad groups so you can test the traffic coming from one keyword and see if the traffic from that one keyword would be best served with this image or 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 this image, and find the best image for that keyword. And then once you find it, you now have higher click-through rates forever from that keyword, which that image will probably do better for all the rest of your keywords. But if you wanted to be ultra sure, you would run a similar test on two more keywords. If those both come out the same way in terms of your test, then you could basically, for the most part, be safe to apply it to the rest of your account. Even though you could do that same test to all your keywords individually if you wanted to, you get my general point though. Whereas we only have so much time to do certain things in the real world. For the most part, if you 3 keywords, the test result comes out the same way, I'm going to apply that same image to all my keywords at that time, basically, for most markets, most situations. But with that, that pretty much spells out everything I could tell you about this image extension testing, what you should do, what will get you the best results with it, how to get twice as many clicks or click-through rate out of your image extension, as a result, twice as much profit at least, given that you're going to also get a reduction in cost per click doing this, as a result of doubling your click-through rate, and bank hard essentially from having not a random approach with your image extension. And compared to your competition, who's just going to pick a random image, even if they have an image extension, you're going to have the most ideal image. You're going to crush them. You're going to end up, because you've done something they weren't willing to do or didn't do, you end up with twice as much money from your search ads from moving forward once this is executed. If you have any questions, like I said, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you like the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would give the video that you just watched a like, and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other information just like this on this channel that'll help you make a lot more money with your ads. And if you like the channel, you'll love my blog at guaranteedppc.com, as well as my column on entrepreneur.com, which has excellent information on how to make money on Google, Facebook, and so forth for your company. If you are looking for an excellent ad manager that can get you results on your campaigns every time, we offer a guaranteed PPC service at our agency, a guaranteed PPC, where we can offer our clients more sales results on their campaigns before we charge a fee. That said, you have to have something that looks like we can get great results with, but if you want to see if we can work together in that kind of manner, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. We'll be able to give you a free analysis of what you got and let you know how much sales results it looks like we can get with your stuff, short, medium, and long term. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. If you're also interested in results, but you don't want an ad manager taking over your stuff to manage your ads for you, we have ad templates that work in over 100 different niche markets now. We've worked in hundreds of markets, and with that, we've been selling templates that work for certain industries that don't compete with our current clients or past clients. In that, if we worked in the plumbing space and you're a plumber, it would be silly trying to build out campaigns for yourself when you could just use the ad templates, landing page templates, and everything that work for your market, in which we can tell you the results you get with it up front before you even use them. We sell those templates for a one-time cost. That cost is less than what it's going to cost for you to figure out what we had to figure out on our own, or could ever figure out, given that, of course, with us managing as many, dozens of campaigns on an ongoing basis, we know all the tricks. So we get you a excellent version of what you can run on Google or Facebook or what have you for your business just by getting our access to our template. If you want to see if we can work in your market, if we have worked in your market, reach out to me at Guaranteed PPC. I'll let you know if we have and what results we've gotten in your market. These templates are so good, people are using those templates to start up side businesses, or in e-commerce even, lead generation businesses and so forth. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me as well, guaranteedppc.com. But with that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.